What's going on, folks? I had to take my car into the shop today to get inspection done. And that seemed like it took forever to do that, but I'm glad I'm done. And now I'm on my way home. You know, but while I was sitting in there, I had the opportunity to have to watch some great stuff on television. And have 1 million cups of coffee. Now I have to go to the bathroom and I have to drive at least 20 miles from where I am. So, because I'm out in the wilderness. But I was watching this show on television, right? And this was interesting, guys. You know, because it was relative to what I always talk about. The things that go on in the workplace as far as how you're affected mentally. You know, people don't really think about these things. Yeah, they live in the moment and they feel that, yeah, this is something I can deal with. You know, the boss is harassing me. The boss is being unfair. But because I'm trying to make a paycheck or make a living, I'm just going to deal with this. And it's just something that comes with life. And that isn't the case. That shouldn't be the case. That is the case is what I'm saying, really. But that shouldn't be the case, folks. You know, too many of us, and I'll say this and then I'll get into what I want to discuss, but too many of us are these complacent people where, you know, we just go through the motions. You know, we deal in these situations where we just, you know, we're a target and, you know, we just chalk it up to an experience. And this is something we'll overcome and we'll get better. Obviously, that's what's going to happen. That's the point of life, is overcoming experiences. But if enough of us start really paying attention to these narcissists, we can eliminate these toxic workplaces and any social space in general, because narcissists are social predators. And they can't survive unless they have, you know, someone who's vulnerable and they can feed off of these people. You know? But how are these people affected in life in general? And I'll start off by talking about these workplace scenarios. But I'll break it down into life in general, because narcissists plague our world, folks. You know, this isn't just about, you know, someone playing with your life or something at work. This is about, you know, the people who decide that your life doesn't have any value, and because they need to feed, whether that be take your life or severely harm you, you know, these people are very active in our communities. Sometimes they are our neighbors. And we always find ourselves saying, you know, I never suspected these people, or, you know, I wouldn't believe that so-and-so or whoever could do such a thing. You know, and that's because they present themselves very well. You know, the narcissist is a master of deception. You know, but they use the workplace, you know, simply as a tool to carry out their schemes and plans. It's not really about the job. I keep telling you that. It's not about whatever high incomes they earn. You know, they could be the bosses. Really, they wake up every single day, folks, to taunt the particular targets that they have in mind when they go to work. They'll wake up early, right? You know, because devaluing a person, you know, makes them feel so high. And these people are so insecure, so low level, that they constantly need that validation by feeding on weak people. People who are not willing to stand up for themselves and claim who they are. See? By technical default, if someone does something to you, you are a victim. However, in your mind, you don't have to be a victim. You know? So when I speak about being a victim of the narcissist, think of it in ways that I'm just speaking in terms of the actual infringement when I'm speaking about what they do to you. And the things that they do to you are the things that cause your sleepless nights, which affect you mentally. A lot of you, many people have committed suicide. And I know some of you may say, well, that's a weak move to make. Yeah, you may be a lot stronger than these folks. And, you know, the people who are very weak will succumb easily to these things. But you'll find yourself every day jumping hurdles. You'll find yourself every day putting on armor, you know, when you go to work. Because you have that boss who's trying to drain you. Take every aspect of your energy. You know this is happening. No one else around seems to care because they're flying monkeys. And they all support this narrative, you know. For the narcissist, this is like a great grand production. And these are all players and actors and stage handlers, you know, who are participating in this production. They play their parts. They get their little trinkets and rewards. Sometimes that's a meager, you know, a come up on a meager salary. Sometimes that's a pat on the head. You know, because sometimes these people earn a lot of money, but they will still be willing to disservice people who are in lower positions. You know, the weasel-faced dogs I always discuss. The really dangerous people, the people who are interchangeable between the higher-up narcissists who are full-blown controllers and narcissists who have to control every aspect of the people they target. You know? Now, why are you so tired? You're tired because they have mentally drained you. You're thinking about your next move every single day, right? This is what leads people to hypertension and high stress levels, high turnover rates at jobs, because people cannot put up with the narcissistic culture, which is often allowed. Because in some narcissistic mindset, somewhere on some board or some higher up authority in a workplace or a boss, there's a perception that controlling, you know, builds up one's ego, and utilizing people as resources, merely as tools, is the objective. And they're not real. I always tell you these people, I always tell you this stuff, folks, that when you deal with narcissism, you'll always have that element of you being the subject, right? They're completely objective. You know, I've done a few videos about this behavior, but, you know, it's all really clinical. And we have to get clinical on some level. And I respect the clinicals, like I said, but, you know, we have to start looking at the people who target us. Doesn't matter if they haven't ever been properly diagnosed. Doesn't matter. You know what narcissism is. You guys are well read on the subject. You guys watch videos like mine. You watch other YouTubers, very prominent YouTubers, discuss the subjects daily. You know, there's a lot of information out on social media about these predators who destroy lives. See, it's not really about, these are the narcissists, I would say, are the types of people who are, you know, they kill you in other ways. You know, some of them on extremes end, they may take a knife or a gun in your life. But most of them in these workplaces, they use the power of their authority to play this game with your life and drive you batty, gaslight you, you know, make your life completely difficult as far as whatever that work task is. Doesn't matter if you're a secretary or a shit shoveler. They'll make that task so difficult to do. They won't get you supplies. You know, they'll change up projects, you know, details to the project at the last moment. They'll stress you with the work day, and then they'll get into your head on a psychological level where they want to really intrude into your lives. These are invasive tactics that they use, you know, because you don't matter. It's about their life. And whenever you reject these people, meaning that you just stand up for yourself, you know, you don't take that offer of kindness. You know, you're polite, but you understand that you don't trust people. See, this is what happens when you're a justice empath and you've been victimized a lot in your life. You learn from your mistakes. the logic that I speak about is merely housed in the mindset that, you know, you stick your hand on that stove and next time the same result's going to happen. So you're not crazy, because the definitive of being crazy is sticking your finger in that socket and expecting something different to happen. You know, instead of expecting that jolt, you get, you know, balloons and chocolate covered candy or something falling from the ceiling. The insane folks. And in a narcissistic mind, every day of their lives is spent nurturing this insane mindset of a world, so to speak, that they have built for themselves. And you're just a character or a cast member, right? You'll play your role. And when you can't play your role, that is when you're suitable for destruction. And destroying you is really important, because when you talk about economics, when you talk about your livelihoods, you know, some of you guys live paycheck to paycheck. I'm not judging you. Some of you guys just have a hard way, and you're out there earning a living. You're doing something. You're taking care of your families, whatever way, you know, necessary. You know, and so you're an easy victim, or easy target, I should say, because, you know, maybe they see that, you know, and that's why I tell you guys to stop speaking so much about your personal lives and what you're going through. These are things that the narcissist will most certainly use to dangle, you know, whatever they want to get you to do, that objective that they have planned for you. In some cases, you know, it's really a petty thing. You know, it's really, they have these insecurities, and women and men sometimes get harassment and certain types of treatment based on something that narcissistic boss wants from them. A lot of women feel that it's sexual, and it is in many cases, because they use that leverage. Like I tell you guys in previous videos I've done, you know, petty, jealous, and illogical people. You know, these people with insecurities, and they learn how to be conniving in life and get ahead in that fashion by cutting throats and doing all of the things that they've done. You know, but when it comes to real interpersonal relations, they fall short, and that's why everyone who comes into their space will be a victim or will suffer at their hands. You learn these things, folks, just like sticking your hand on the stove, like I was talking about. You know, but the narcissist, you know, lives for this type of thing, and your mind has taken you to a place of, because I was going around, but you know, it's a lot to cover, folks. Whenever you talk about narcissism, you're talking about things, like I told you, that make people commit suicide. You're talking about things that cause people to lose their jobs, or their, you know, or their homes or something. Because the narcissism could be, you know, as far as people making these sharp business deals, cheating people out of their real estate, or just whatever way that comes. Saying that you don't matter as a person, you're just an object or a plaything for my whims and entertainment. You know, in that small sector of the world, maybe it's bigger than what we imagine, because there's a lot of people who are closet narcissists, you know. But that small sector of the world is the reason why we have to lock our doors in every single thing that we do, and you know, we put up cyber walls and cyber security and all types of things we do, you know, in this world, because of the types of people who take and try to harm us. But I sat there in this shop, and I had a lot of time to think. A lot of cups of coffee and a lot of caffeine, and you know, and I talk about this a lot, but it's not a topic that one can really say it's not significant, because in our lives we all have to make a living. Many of you watching this video do work. You have, you're employed somewhere. And think about how you're held hostage to that job every day merely by the notion that if this boss has a bad day, then maybe you won't have a job next season or whatever. And you're trying to survive. That's the name of the game. So you have to learn how to do this elaborate dance with these folks and try to understand them every day. And now on all of that misunderstanding that you do so much, when you haven't realized that people around you could actually be narcissists, you suffer greatly. See, the people who are smart, people like myself, people like you guys, you know who I'm talking to, you stay away from narcissists. You've touched that stove one too many times, and it's not about to happen again. And I respect that. See, because I live that way. Hold on 1 second, guys. A little traffic back up here. But the narcissist is always going to be there to cause some type of obstruction to the positive flow that's going on in your lives. And that's a perfect segue, because I'm in this freaking lot with all of these cars and stuff. And so, yeah, because they're energy vampires and they're emotional vampires, and narcissists, live to find victims, and the justice empaths live to get rid of these narcissists, and we're not really seeking you guys out, really. We know you're there. We just deal with you in the moment. You're not even important, really. We realize that you're just a piece of crud, only fit to reside under someone's shoe because you are a stain on the society at large. Simply. All you folks out there who are tired of this bullshit every day, you're tired of playing clinical psychologist or something. You're calling plays. When you get to the point where you can diagnose your narcissistic boss and you can call the play for the day, that's what I like to call it, when you're able to decipher some mumble jumble, some word salad that they threw at you, or you're able to, successfully maneuver your way around an obstacle, connected to something that they requested of you, which is what they do every day. When you have an environment totally comprised of narcissists, and every action that they take and do are these games, it gets exhausting mentally and physically. Because if you work manual jobs, even if you work a office job, just doing all of that filing or whatever they're having, these hoops they have you jump into, whatever job you're doing, it's torture. That's why I always talk about, time clock torture, because that's what it is. That's what I call it. But you guys, let's talk about, we understand, what's driving you batty, but let's talk about how to fix that real quick. And in another video, we'll really touch on that topic. But what you want to do, folks, for the people who haven't quite figured out a way to get away from the environment, you should be working on that exit plan. But for those who haven't done so yet, and who are going to try to survive in this environment, what I need you guys to do is to always prepare for the games. Because anytime you engage a narcissist, anything they say to you will most certainly be part of a web, connected to a web of a bigger game. That bigger game could be you having to, cover the whole entire shift next week or something on your job. Or, the layoffs are coming soon and you're number one on the list. Or just any of these things that will affect you. That's why you have to do more than just ignore these people. That's why I have a purpose. That's why you guys should have a purpose in this world. Because if you want a better world, you have to look at where the problem is coming from. The problem is coming from these people. So you want to step outside of yourself, like I said in that strategy, like you're in the Matrix. And you want to look at these people come at you with all types of barbs and insults and negative energy. And because you know that they're coming from a place of emptiness and they're trying to hurl and bring you to that place, you just sidestep that stuff. You know, think ahead of them, because you know their routine. They run in straight lines. They only hunt in straight lines, and they don't see, you know, the other factors that may clip them up or may expose them. And that's why they're stupid, right? So I just want you guys to, you know, and for you people out there, really this talk is for the people who are really stressed and they're just fed up and they've exhausted themselves mentally and physically. They feel sore, literally. Their body feels sore every night. They're not getting enough sleep. And the narcissist is seeing these things and knowing that they're probably affecting you on some level. And they just love that stuff. So you can't give them what they want. But you have to think about your exit plans if you want to get out of this environment, because it won't stop. And if it doesn't stop, that means that you're going to eventually be completely destroyed, because you're going to break down completely. Whether that comes in the form of a heart attack or whatever way your life folds up. They're relentless, folks. They won't stop. I love bad behavior. But what I want people to do, you know, is to understand what bad behavior actually is. It's what you won't accept. It's anything you won't accept. Yeah, people have their standards. But for today, we're going to say the standard of bad behavior is simply not allowing someone to destroy your life merely for their own, you know, amusement. Who are you? Are you a person? Yeah, you are. You aren't an object. So since you aren't an object, what you want to do is make sure you assert yourselves to the narcissist and fight the good fight, and then get away, because these people live to stay. They stay in the mud, and you don't want to stay in the mud. You're better than the mud. All right? So just sidestep all of their bullshit. See it coming, because they're so one-dimensional. And just don't even deal with it. Don't play the game. I've said this many videos. Don't play the game. Okay? You know. But, you folks have some time today. Going over to my website. That will be www.thinkbehavior.info, and pick up my book, I Love Bad Behavior. And also you can pick that book up on Amazon, okay? So y'all head on over to somewhere and pick these things up. Pick this thing up, sorry. And have a great day, because I am too, okay? You know, and I understand that many of you are not having a great day today, right? You haven't figured out how to effectively deal with the narcissistic bullshit, right? Now think about something. I'm one of these folks who was a victim many times in my life, from childhood into adulthood, well into adulthood, and I figured out a way to stop playing the game. And that's all I'm talking to you guys about, is not playing the game. Okay? Until we talk again, folks, you guys have a great day. Take care.